I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So, Fabius Bile heard about some sort of like archaeotech, some sort of thing that he needed or wanted or whatever on a planet. So, he went and talked to four leaders of four Chaos warbands and convinced them to come along with him and see if they could recover this archaeotech and perhaps get some other things along the way. Unfortunately for Fabius, Belisarius Cawl has also heard about this archaeotech and has come himself personally, along with some of his mech and his own allies, to try and also retrieve it. So we're going to have the Iron Warriors, the Night Lords, the Thousand Suns, and the Death Guard try and retrieve some archaeotech. And they're going to go up against the AdMech, the Imperial Guard, and the Imperial Knights to do so. I'm thinking this will be a really good game. I thought about this idea a couple weeks ago, and I've been turning it over in my head, trying to see if I can put on a good showing for it. So we'll see if that happens. I'm going to do this on a 4x6 today, using my hill terrain and Bleak Rides' GW Sector Imperialis stuff. So we're going to use this objective marker here as the archaeotech. Each side has a number of troop units, so only a troop unit can pick up this thing, and if it does, it can't shoot until it, puts it down or whatever. And the goal here is for a troop unit to go from its starting place, either over there or over here, pick up the thing, make it back to the make it back to the other end of its deployment zone, and it'll win. It is possible to block the other team by killing off all of their troops. I'm not sure how likely that is, but it's a possibility, I guess. Yeah, I think that's about that for this. A while back, somebody had talked about my basing and how I don't generally base my stuff, and I really don't, but since I've got all these factions, I've been experimenting with different things. This is what I got for my Mephitic Blight Hauler. Yeah, it's looking okay, I guess, so far. Mordant Earth around just built out pools of Nurgle's Rot. Then the green is just Warp Lightning. It's coming along. Alright, so here we have the start of the scheme, I guess. Fabius Bile. So he gathered up some Iron Warriors, led by a Dark Disciple, 10 of the Chaos Base Marines. The Aspiring Champion has a Power Fist and a Plasma Pistol. And there's 6 bolt guns and then 3 bolt pistol chainsword. Group of 5 Havocs with a Reaper Chain Cannon, the Auto Cannon, a Las Gun. I don't entirely remember what that last one is, but I'll have to look it up for the game. And they have a Halberd with a Halberd Hammer, and I think that's the Plasma Gun. So for Death Guard, we have Typhus. We have 7 Plague Marines and 5 Blight Lord Terminators. There's a Plague Spewer and a Blight Launcher in there, along with a Flail of Corruption. I'm just disguised a flail. It's just upstairs being painted. And then we also have a Night Desecrator with the Laser Destructor, Heavy Stubber, Reaper Chainsword. I expect great things from this guy, at least defense-wise. So, Night Lords. We have a Chaos Lord, 10-man squad of Chaos Space Marines. The leader has a chain axe and a plasma pistol. Then we have a autocannon and a heavy bolter in there. 5 Havocs, heavy bolter, the auto cannon. No, it's the chain cannon. 2 las cannons, 2 separate obliterators, and a Helbert with a Helbert fist and a heavy flamer, a twin las cannon. And then a rhino that these guys, and Chaos Space Marine guys, will be riding around in. And then finally, we have the Thousand Suns, led by an Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. He knows prescience and warp time. 10 Rubric Marines with 4 Flamers, 4 Infernal Bolt Guns, and a Soul Reaper Cannon. Their Aspiring Sorcerer knows Tzeentch's Firestorm. 5 Scarab Cult Terminators with Hellfire Missiles and the Soul Reaper Cannon. Their Aspiring Champion knows Doombolt. And then a Rhino for the Rubrics to run around in. These guys have the Teleport Strike, as do the Obliterators and the other Terminators over there. I forgot to say it, but they do. So that's the grouping that Fabius Bile has managed to pull together to try and recover the Archaeotech. So one of the groups of allies that Belisarius Cawl was able to call to his side to help with this venture was this group of Imperial Guard, led by the Cadian Command Squad. There's also a Commissar, 2 10-man groups of Cadian shock troops, each one with a flamer, grenade launcher, and a dude with a Vox thing. We got 2 heavy ordnance batteries that are separate from each other. One's a heavy las cannon, and the other is the Malleus rocket launcher. Have an armored sentinel with a heavy flamer, chainsaw, and a hunter killer missile. And the amazing workhorse of this grouping, the Rogeldoran battle tank. Got a Cascadator Gatling cannon, twin meltas, twin multi-meltas, a heavy stubber, and a twin battle cannon. This thing's just been wrecking all of the other factions that it goes up against. This will be the Imperial Guard's 4th appearance on the channel. I anticipate this thing destroying a lot of stuff. Okay, so here we have the main AdMech force, led by Belisarius Cawl himself. So this is my buddy Billy's AdMech army, and he said that in the lore, there's a member of the Emperor's size that always follows Belisarius Cawl around. That's that guy. He doesn't shoot, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't have any weapons or wounds or anything like that. He literally just follows Belisarius Cawl around. There's also a Tech Priest Dominus. I have a Tech Priest Insincere, 5 Sicarian Roughstalkers, a 10-man group of Skitarii Vanguard, a 10-man group of Skitarii Rangers that will be riding around in the Scorpius Doomstrider, 3 Cataphren Breachers, 2 Castellan Robots, and an Iron Strider Ballistari. Alright, there's the main AdMech grouping. So the other allies to answer Cawl's call, man, I should get that on a t-shirt, is this Night House. I don't think he's ever named them. Billy, not Belisarius. But we have a Knight Castellan and 3 Armiger Warglaives. All of them have basic stock weapons. So yeah, that's the Imperium forces that will be fighting to try and gain control of the Archaeotech. I'm gonna set up the table, roll deployment, and this is gonna be an awesome friggin' experience. Alright, so Chaos won the deployment roll, and they chose to be on this happy side over here. They pretty much deployed upon faction lines. So we've got the Night Lord Havocs and the Night Lord Chaos Lord. That's a lot of lords. Up on the hill here, The Night Desecrator in the back with the Rhino with the Chaos Space Marines in it. Then the Halberd, Fabius Bile himself on this hill, along with the Dark Apostle for the Iron Warriors and the Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. So then we have the Iron Warrior Havocs, the Halberd, and the 10 Space Marines for those guys. Thousand Suns Rhino in the valley over here. Plague Marines a little bit up on the hill, and Typhus up on the top of the hill. All the two Terminator units and the Obliterators are hanging out in their teleportarium thing. Alright, so that puts Imperium over here. These guys kind of spread out a little bit, but, you know. So we've got the heavy las cannon ordnance thing up here, along with the rust stalkers. Cataphragm breachers, the Vanguard, Skitari, Armored Sentinel, Belisarius Cawl with his little follow behind. Night Castellan in the back, hanging out with the Rogel Dorn. The Scorpius Doomstrider with the Rangers inside. All three of the Armored Warglaives. Behind them we have the rest of the Imperial Guard for the most part. The Commissar, the command group at the end here. Shock troops at the end. I almost forgot about the Dominus. Got a Dominus in there with that guy. Castellan robots and the rocket launcher up on the back hill here. The engine series can be pretty much stuck on the Night Castellan. So unfortunately for the Imperium, they did not manage to steal, so that'll make it Chaos this turn. All they gotta do is have a troop grab this and escort it back to the end of their deployment zone. The Chaos, that would be on this side, and Imperium, that would be this side. I think it's, how did I... Yeah, so there's 5 troops on the Imperium side and 4 troops on the Chaos side. Alright, so we'll start off with Chaos movement. Alright, so the majority of the army advanced forward. Havoc stayed where they are. The Knight just moved up. The Chaos Lord advanced down off the hill. The Halberd just moved up. Both Rhinos advanced forward. These Havocs just moved. So the Dark Apostle just moved up the hill. The Halberd moved over. The regular Iron Warrior Space Marine guys advanced up a little bit. Exhausted Sorcerer moved up behind the Rhino. The Typhus advanced up to the top of the hill, the edge of the hill, I guess. Plague Marines got a really good advance roll and just barely made it off the edge of the hill. So both groups of Terminators teleported down onto the hill here, holding the ruin of the artifact kind of thingy. One of the Obliterators popped in over here on this side. The other one popped in over here. So that's going to definitely throw a wrench in the other side, I hope anyway. Alright. There's really not a whole lot of psychic abilities available right at the moment. He's not in range. His isn't helpful, his isn't helpful. The river's still in the Rhino, so we'll just do chaos shooting. I feel a whole lot better about dropping these Terminators here now. So these Terminators and this Obliterator kills off the Cataphragm breachers that used to be here. The Obliterator over here did some damage to the middle Warglaive. And so the Havocs that are hiding kind of sort of under behind this terrain piece And these havocs over here, between the two of them, killed off the rust stalkers that were over here. And then the Night Desecrator, with its laser destructor, killed off the heavy ordnance, heavy las cannon that was sitting up here also. So yeah, I consider that to be well spent. Quite enjoyable. Nobody's close enough to charge, so that'll make it the Imperium's turn for movement. So the canticle for this turn is Benediction of the Omnissiah, which allows all affected units to reroll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase. Hopefully that'll help. Alright, so the Dune Strider has advanced all the way up here to the edge of the thing and just kind of parked in anticipation of dropping Rangers at next turn. The Warglaives have all moved up, 2 of them heading towards the island here. I call it an island, but it's a hill. The third one going after the Obliterator. The Belisarius moved up. Castle Robots just moved up the hill. All of the Imperial Guard infantry has advanced forward over here. The Vanguard moved up. Belisarius Cawl is just going to hang out where he is right now. The Sentinel moved up. The Castle moved up. And the Rogaldorn moved up as far as it could. This guy doesn't move. These guys don't have any psychics. In the case of the Imperial Guard, that's yet. They will, hopefully, in the next couple of months, I'll get some psychers and some other cool stuff. Yeah, right now, no psychers. So the shooting phase then. Alright, so it took the combined efforts of both of those Warglaives, the closest ones, plus the Sentinel, plus the Vanguard, plus the Iron Strider Belisarius, to kill off the Scarabocul Terminators. That was crazy. And then, yeah, the Rogaldorn launched everything it had and killed off 2 of the Blightlord Terminators. The far Warglaive over there, which seems to have taken a personal dislike against the Obliterator on the second floor, did a little bit of damage to him, didn't really kill him. The Castle launched everything it had as its Obliterator and got him down to 1. It didn't kill him. Chaos Dice were saving really good today. So far. I really don't want to charge up a second floor with a vehicle, so we'll skip that and just put it over to Chaos's turn for movement. The Blightlord Terminators are holding strong on the hill here. Both Obliterators are just going to also stay where they are. The Nightlord's Rhino is advanced way up here. Pretty much all of these guys, except for the Knight and the Havocs, advance forward. These Havocs didn't advance, but these guys, these Space Marines did. The Exalted Sorcerer, the Plague Marines, Typhus, the other Rhino, and the other Hellbrute with his crappy advance roll. Fabius still hanging out to see if I mean, it looks like these guys might succeed, but they might fail too, so probably wait until next turn before he starts to saunter on over. Psychic phase. Typhus and the Exalted Sorcerer are both 1 inch and 2 inches out of range for Smite. Rivert's still in the Rhino, and the other one's dead, I think. So no real psychic phase then, so chaos shooting it is. Pretty much everything shot that could. The only thing that really matters is this Obliterator and the Knight Desecrator managed to wound the Knight Castellan by 9 points. Everything else was either a save or a failed wound. Not going to charge. I'm going to have to go to the Imperium turn. With their movement, but just looking around being like, crap. I might have done the chaos part a little wrong. Guess we'll see next turn. Alright, so it kind of looks like an infantry mess here right now. The Rangers hopped out of the Doomstrider, and then it booked it over there to try and take on the Obliterator. All of Cadia's, the command group, the Commissar, and the shock troops all just moved forward as a group. The Vanguard moved up. The Knight moved up. Belisarius did. Rogaldorn. The Iron Strider came out of the gap. Castellan robots are moving towards it. So each one of the armigers, this one's going after Night Lord's Rhino. That one's going after the Thousand Suns Rhino, and this one is still going for the Obliterator. This guy doesn't move. I forgot about the mechanical. I'll look that up in a second. So the shooting phase. I totally forgot to say this one last time. I did do it, but I didn't mention it. So the orders will be take aim. So reroll ones in the shooting phase for the Cadian troops. That was a crazy ass firefight here just a second ago. So it took this Warglaive and the Doomstrider to kill off the Obliterator here. The Belisarius and the other Warglaive did some damage to the Thousand Suns Rhino. It took everything that the Rogaldorn had to kill off the rest of the Terminators that were up here. The unpainted Warglaive did some damage to the Thousand Suns Rhino. And it pretty much took everything that this knight had to kill off the Obliterator that was over there. That was kind of craziness. Well, we finally have units close enough to charge things, so this Armiger Warglaive is going to charge into that Rhino, and this Armiger Warglaive is going to charge into that Rhino. I do like charging things with, giant chain swords. Those are the best. So both Warglaives made their charges. Didn't suffer any damage in Overwatch. Both destroyed the Rhinos. Neither of the Rhinos exploded, because of course they didn't. None of these guys died in the disembarking, but 2 of the Night Lords died in their disembarking, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, Warglaives, they kill Rhinos. I guess I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. That was crazy. That will take us back to the Chaos turn for movement. So Fabius Bile, sensing that victory is probably near, has moved down off the hill and is moving forward. Pretty much everything moved forward. Havocs tonight, Helbert, these Havocs, Chaos Lord, Dark Apostle, the Helbert. Oh yeah, the Sorcerer on disc. I always forget that. Typist, the Plague Marines over there. So everybody on the hill advanced to get up here. So the Night Lord Space Marines advanced up here. The Iron Warrior Chaos Space Marines advanced up here. And the Rubiks advanced over to here. So hopefully 3 groups around there can do something. So Psychic Phase. The Exalted Sorcerer is going to attempt to manifest prescience on the Rubik Marines. Goes off on a 7. Does not get it with a 3. Raise your hand if you're surprised. So the rubric is going to try and do Zacious Firestorm. It goes up on the nearest, which happens to be the Armored Sentinel. Goes up on a 7. Actually gets it with a 10. 96. Every 6 is a mortal wound, so there's 2. 2 mortal wounds for the Armored Sentinel. Which leaves Typhus. He's going to do Miasma of Pestilence. Try and get it onto these Plague Marines right here. That goes off on a 6. Gets it on a 9. So those guys are -1 to hit. Alright, that wasn't the worst second phase that I've ever experienced. Cool. So we'll get into the shooting phase. So with the combined efforts of the 2 groups of Havocs and this Hellbrute, they managed to kill off the Armiger Warglaive that was over here. The Knight Desecrator did 6 points of damage to the Knight Castellan. Just whittling it down slowly. Nothing else really happened. Charge phase. Do I want to charge Plague Marines into a Warglaive? Like, it seems like a lot of work. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to do that. These Plague Marines are going to charge into the Warglaive that's in front of them. This guy right here. So the Plague Marines made it in. Suffered no damage in Overwatch. Did a decent amount of damage to it. Didn't kill it, but did like 4 damage. And then they managed to not die at all. One guy lost 1 health. Good Death Guard save. That disgustingly resilient definitely helped a lot. Alright, so it's definitely a mess out there, but it is the Imperium's turn for movement. Alright, well, I thought that I organized the chaos a little bit, but I think I might have made it worse. Alright, so the Rangers have moved up onto the hill in a happy spot, so they're facing 3 different legions worth of troops right now. The Vanguard advanced over to hopefully block up this side. One of the groups of shock troops with the Commissar are moving up. Sentinel's just going to hang out. Dominus moved down off of this thing. This guy was over here. He has now moved over to this side. The wounded Warglaive has fallen back. Castellans have come out between the breach here. And Doomstrider has just aesthetically moved around so that his front is actually facing these guys. So these guys are just going to hang out here in case something happens to any of the 3 troops that are up here. And then everybody else back here is just staying back here. Belisarius cawl healed the Knight Castellan a little bit. Alright. That was kind of chaotic for me, at least. No psychers. Yeah, it'll be the shooting phase. The Imperium is really beating the crap out of Chaos right now. It's kind of terrible. Alright. Yeah, the Warglaive, the Sentinel, the Iron Strider, both Castle and robots, and the Dune Strider managed to kill off the Plague Marines. So the Rogaldorn killed off all of the Rubric Marines. The Knight Castellan makes it so much worse. Killed off all of the Night Lord and Chaos Marines that were on the hill and the Hellbrute that used to stand over there. I mean, if I'd known that guard were this ridiculously crazy, I might have started them earlier, but Jesus. This is just crazy. I need better chaos armor, apparently, because this thing, they're just beating the crap out of them. Sad panda. Yeah, there's really nobody left close enough to charge. Kind of shaking my head at the loss of the chaos that used to be over here. That was two entire squads of troops that are now dead. Like, if the Iron Warriors Chaos Space Marine fucking squad, the back one there, if those guys die, Chaos can't win this game at all. And the Imperium still has 4 full squads of troops. Alright. Well, that does make it Chaos' turn. For movement. Let's see if they can do something with it. Alright, I rolled a hell of an advance roll, so the Iron Warriors actually managed to get up to the Archaeotech. So the Havocs, the Chaos Lord, and the other Havocs have moved over this way to hopefully help these guys escape. And Dark Apostle and Typhus have also moved over this way. Fabius is just chilling out because maybe this will work out. The Night Desecrator has moved up to hopefully take out some of the things that would be chasing them. And over here we have the Iron Warriors Hellbrute facing down this massive mess. I mean, you know, it's probably most definitely going to die, but it's definitely going to be a good time for me doing so. Yeah, the Exalted Sorcerer on Disc moved up here as well for another also suicidal experience. So for Psychics, Typhus can't see anything to do anything to, and the Exalted Sorcerer, I guess, is going to try and smite the wounded Sentinel here. That's a 5. That's an 11, so that's a D6 mortal wounds. So 6 mortal wounds, which is enough to destroy it. But it does not explode. Alright. I'll remove the dead sentinel, and we'll go into chaos shooting. So the Night Desecrator killed 2 of the Rangers. And then with the addition of the Lizard Destructor on the Night Desecrator, and the 2 squads of Havocs managed to do 9 points of damage to the Castellan. Unfortunately, it's still alive. And even when it's dead, if they can kill it, there's still a tank to worry about. Instead of shooting, these guys pick up the Archaeotech. So now they technically have it. And nobody's going to charge. So that'll make it the Imperium's turn. So now we gotta kill these guys to take away the Archaeotech so that they can pick it up and try and escape to over here. Well, we'll see if they can do that. Movement. Alright, so Belisarius Cawl healed the Night Castellan a little bit, and then it moved up over across the barricade. The shock troops and the command squad just moved up behind the commissar. Over here, the Castellan robots and the Dominus. They moved up, and then the Wargaloid moved up way ahead of them. Oh yeah. The Vanguard moved up onto the hill as well. So the shooting phase. So the Cadian commander did the first rank fire, second rank fire, so that everybody's las guns were rapid fire too. And they did manage to kill a couple of the Space Marines that were up here. The Rogel Dorn took care of the rest. This thing's just beastly. it did take the Castle robots and the Armature Warglaive to kill off the Hellbrute that was over here. And then the Iron Strider and the Dune Strider killed off the Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. Yeah, so the Night Castle did a decent amount of damage to the Night Desecrator, and then with its remaining attacks and the Armature here, they killed off the Havocs. So that was craziness. Alright. Yeah, we're not gonna charge. But Chaos can't win. The best they can do is maybe destroy. I mean, yeah, we can keep on going with the Scorched Earth. We're gonna have to, I guess. Since there's still troops and they gotta make it out alive, so we'll go on over to Chaos's turn for their movement phase. Alright, so Fabius is definitely not getting any closer to this mess. The Chaos Lord, Dark Apostle, the Havocs have all moved closer to the hill. Typus actually made it up onto the hill. And the Chaos Knight isn't going to do anything at all. Psychic phase. This type is going to do Smite on the Vanguard here. Puts it on a 5. Made it with an 8. Does 1 damage, so one of those guys dies. And then we'll go into the Chaos Shooting. Alright, so I see a slim glimmer of hope in my future for at least stopping the Imperium for winning this. The Havocs managed to kill 5 of the Vanguard. The Chaos Lord actually killed 1. This guy killed a couple with the Heavy Stubber, and then did a decent chunk of damage to this guy with his Laser Destructor. Alright, so charges. Typhus is going to charge into the last Vanguard there. And the Night Desecrator is going to charge into the Night Castellan. I always do love these night battles. It's the entire reason I bought this Chaos Knight is so that I could beat up Billy's Night Castellan here. Yay! I get to do it again! Both Typhus and the Chaos Knight made their charges. Neither one suffered any damage in Overwatch. Typhus very skillfully killed the Skitarii Vanguard leader. Onto the Knight. So he didn't suffer any Overwatch, but he most definitely killed the Night Castellan, which actually fucking exploded. So it did some damage to the Night Desecrator and to the Warglaive. I don't think I've ever seen the Castellan explode before. That was super amazing. Awesomeness. Alright, so yeah, that puts it over to the Imperium. They're in a position they could at least go up there and pick it up. We'll see how this goes. Movement. So the Skitarii Rangers have made it up there to take possession of the Archaeotech. This Armature is hopped up here to take on Typhus. One of the Cadian shock troops is working its way down here to maybe tie up the Knight. Cadian command squad moving forward. Dune Strider has moved back to get shots on the Knight, I assume. Over here, this Armature Warglaive is coming up the back to take these guys on. And the Castle robots have advanced behind along with the Dominus to maybe catch up on this side. Alright, well, that'll take us to Imperium shooting. These guys won't shoot, but they will pick up the Archaeotech. Alright, So the Armored Warglaive and the Malleus rocket launcher managed to kill off Typhus. And the Rogaldorn killed off the Knight Desecrator. I don't normally, what's the word here? I don't normally topple my king very often in games like this. I kind of insist on Scorched Earth. I think I even mentioned it like 4 or 5 comments ago. But in this case, there's really no way that Chaos can prevent these guys from making it over there when there's 2 Warglaives kind of facing them down the gullet here, along with all of this Imperial Guard, plus this tank. I'm going to say that the Imperium won this one. Yeah. Which makes me think that I need, I don't know, like actual armor, tank related. I mean, I don't know what Chaos Space Marines have for armor related things like tanks or whatever, like Vindicators or, if you could put a turret or something on a Rhino. But based on what this bloody ass Rogaldorn has done to everything that it has come up against so far, I don't know if I have a faction that can deal with the Imperial Guard right now. That's super crazy to say, but the Rogaldorn just destroys shit. So yeah, if you made it to the end of the video and watched Chaos get just fucking trounced, I do appreciate it because I had a completely different expectation of how this game was going to go. I thought for sure that Chaos was going to at least get it and get it part of the way back to their end, maybe, or they put up a decent showing, but Jesus. I need to get, demon engines or something for these guys, because they just got the shit stomped out of them. I mean, I had a lot of fun. Geez, I did, but I don't normally like playing the good guys, and unfortunately, in this case, the good guys still won. So it's almost twice as bad? I don't know. Either way, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.